back to my channel, and I thought I would do my first book review. And this is a book that a lot of people have already read. It's been out for a little while now, but it's A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. And I've been seeing this quite a bit on BookTube and thought that it was an interesting sounding book, even though you don't really get a lot of history on the story from the reviews that I've seen. And I knew that there was a movie out about it. And so I was really interested in the book, first of all, and then second of all, how the movie portrayed the book. So I thought that I would just spend a couple of minutes and tell you my thoughts. So if you don't know what this is about, it's about this little boy who is 13 years old, and his mom has cancer. They don't explicitly tell you she's got cancer, they just say that she's in treatment and that she is really sick and she's losing her hair, and after her treatment she is really weak and feels terrible for a couple of days, but then she usually perks right up. Sounds like chemo to me. And so from everything that I've gathered, she has cancer. So on top of having cancer, he also has a lot of problems with the kids at his school. Everybody knows about his sick mom, and so they all treat him differently. As we start the book, his mom has just recently had a treatment. She's really not feeling very well, and she says that, guess what, Grandma's coming to visit. She's gonna come help us out for a little while. And this infuriates him. He is so not, he as in Connor, sorry, his name is Connor. He is not into the idea of Grandma visiting. He's got all these little things going on. So he's got a sick mom, an unpleasant grandmother, problems at school, and then guess what else? He started accidentally calling on a monster to help. And he didn't do it intentionally. So it's kind of funny, funny, to see this interaction with this monster, whether he thinks it's a dream or if it's real, he's not really sure. He keeps going back and forth about it. I don't want to tell you any more about the book because I don't want to ruin it. But that's just the basics, and you get that within like the first chapter of the book, so it's really not giving anything away. But this book was incredible. The pictures in the book are spectacular, and of course I finished reading this book and my husband's like, so is this a book we're going to be buying? I was like, maybe. And he's like, are you going to read it again? And I was like, I don't know, because anything that's really emotional for me, I have a tendency not to read it again. And this is one of those books where I checked it out from the library because I was really interested in it, and I saw it sitting on one of the display cases, and I decided to go for it. And as emotional as this book is, you really feel for this little boy. But as a mom, I took a different stance on it. I wasn't seeing this little boy worried about losing his mom. Having problems in school, having this horrible grandmother he hates. I saw it from the point of view of the mother, because I have kids Connor's age. I have a 12, almost 13-year-old, and I have a 14-year-old, so I have kids that are in that age range. And it just devastated me because I kept putting myself in her shoes. I kept putting myself in, how would I feel if I had cancer or even another illness that meant that I may have to leave my kids. I may have to leave them at this tender age, this teenage age. And I don't know how many of you guys are actually parents, but I've been a teenager. I've gone through all these wild emotions, this time in my life. And I remember my grandmother telling me that her teenage years were the only years in her entire life she would never want to experience twice. She loved being a little kid, she loved being a young adult, newly married, having babies of her own. She would say she would redo any of those years, but she hated being a teenager. So for me, as a mom who has teenagers and who's been through these experiences of being a teenager, I can't imagine leaving my babies at that point in their life. I know I'll have to leave them someday. It's inevitable. It's the circle of life, and God willing, I will go first and then they will. So I will never have the horror of losing a child. But at the same time, parents aren't supposed to leave their kids this young. This is a tender age when they're supposed to be around. And I was so emotional. I cried my eyes out, like a total, like not even just like a couple of tears. I'm talking sobs. Like I'm having problems seeing the page because I am sobbing. And my husband's coming over and trying to crack jokes, and I'm pushing him away because I'm trying to finish the book. And then after I finish it, he asks me what was so wrong with it. And I didn't want to give it away for him either because he's never read it and he hadn't seen the movie, and we were about ready to watch the movie the next day. So I just told him that, well, I just told you, the thought of leaving my babies at this age just devastated me. And so for me, I took a different angle on the book. It wasn't necessarily just that I felt bad for Connor, it's that I felt for his mom. And then we watched the movie the next day, and I thought the movie was really, really well done. This book is super short, like super, super short. And I thought that, okay, this is a short book, it should hopefully be able to be translated into a movie really well. And it really was. It was like spot on. If you've seen the movie, you basically read the book. There's very few variations between the book and the movie. I would still say if you've watched the movie, go read the book. But be aware that they are almost identical. I never watched a movie of an adaptation of a book that I thought was more spot on than this one. Especially Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver as the grandmother was so perfect. The little boy who did Connor did an amazing job. They did make him a little younger. In the movie he's 12, in the book he's 13. So it was really tiny, insignificant difference. But Sigourney Weaver did a spot on, amazing job as the grandmother. And I don't think they could have picked a better actress for it. So, in conclusion of all of this is that I think this was a really, really worthwhile book. And I took something different from it, and I'm really curious what you would take from it. Have you read this book? Have you watched the movie? How did it make you feel? Did it pull at heartstrings in a different way than maybe the author intended? And if you don't know, Patrick Ness wrote this, but it was an idea that had come to another author, Saborin Dowd or something like that. There's a name. I'm not really sure how you pronounce her name. But she started the project, but she wasn't able to finish it because she passed away of breast cancer. But I'm wondering now what exactly prompted her to write this story. From what Patrick Ness says, she had the characters and the beginning of the book started, but she didn't have it finished. So Patrick Ness is the one that took the book and tried to make something that she would be proud of. There were so many layers to this book, and I really am curious what you took out of it. What did you think of it? How did you like it? For me, it was amazing. It was a 5 out of 5. Movie, book, everything amazing. But it was one of those ones that pulled at the heartstrings so bad that I don't know if I'll ever reread it. So I want to hear your thoughts. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think of it. Yeah, that's my thoughts. 5 out of 5. Bawled my eyes out. Yes. Anyways, okay, so that's it for now, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.